doing? What is we doing?
The doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever filmed, called Marriage. We dig into everything from dating 101. Why won't they commit? It's complicated. I can't do it if it's the three of us. They're a good person, but I'm not attracted to them in that way. 2, they really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family because we only can take care of us? Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio, Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you want to hear more of today's real issues in the world of love. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
All right. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
What's up, fam? I'm doing good today. Doing all right for Thursday afternoon. Not too bad.
Yeah, it does. It's a little somewhat sunny / gloomy, but it's a good day nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a good thing, no doubt.
Yeah. All the excitement all throughout the week with all of this. Now we about to get into the political race. So
here we go. Yeah. Because they had their the DNC had their convention here in Chicago. So that's what all the hubbub has been about, or whatever like that.
Yeah. I'm not much on a talk politics type of guy. But if I had to be a fly on the wall, what I would say to both sides is we too old to throw rocks back and forth. Just prove your case. Prove why you feel you're better than the other. Not you're better, but prove what you are offering to stand on, right? Prove that out, map it out, and leave it to the people. But I just think when we get into these narratives of just continuing to throw rocks, it almost puts me in the mind of us being kids. And I'm like, we're not kids, we're adults. Like, let's just talk about what you talk about and let that be that. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I look at it like this. If I were to go on an interview, I can't go in there and say, now, I know y'all talking to me today, but I did see that guy Jake down the hall. Let me tell you something. His baby mother did, all this crazy stuff.
His baby mama.
Let's prove who you are. Let that be that. That's all. That's all. All right. But anyway, yes. All right. I just think it's crazy at times when I be listening to some things. I be like, what is going on? And are we doing debates or are we doing the Joneses? But anyway, all right. So today, now some of you may be saying, what does Butterfingers mean? Typically, when you think of Butterfingers, we think of people who, when something falls in their hands, they can't hold on to it. It slides right out their fingers as if they just had butter on the tips of their fingers. And they can't catch, so to speak. We'll just remember that concept. They can't catch. Okay. So the topic we're talking about today is Butterfingers, the tale of those who fumbled good people. So all throughout life, I think we all, at some point or another, in our lives, if we're honest, we have encountered someone who just thought we were the business of one side of the building and back down the other. You was just the greatest in their eyes, and you were like, okay, yes, it's not, yes. Ooh, you liked them, but maybe you thought they were maybe nice, maybe even cute or handsome or fine, as we say. But then there are those little dynamics that cause us to put those people in these specific different boxes, like different areas. We put them in different kind of compartments. I like this one, but maybe not, definitely not as much as I like this one. So I'm going to put this one right here. You understand what I'm saying? And so what ends up happening is you eventually make a choice to what we feel is more motivating to us, who we like more, who we're more attracted to, who we think we get along with more, who we have a good time with more. And then that other person often just fades to the black, right? And you may hear from them in occasional holidays, happy Merry Christmas or New Year, and you're like, oh, thank you, so and so, and that's that. But you didn't choose them, right? And then we only have those moments of potential regret at times when we find ourselves in positions in our relationships or in our marriages where we look back and say, you know what? I think so-and-so was the man or the woman who got away. Basically, I overlooked who they probably could have been in my life. And I think this is a good topic because there's a lot of variables to dig into this because, again, like I was saying to you before the show, Adam, it's like, if I had to compare this in a slight way, growing up in the Christian community, we were always taught to things about either being in God's perfect will, which is the things that he designed specifically for you, or the things of let's just say your will, which is the permissive will, the things that you just have to have and he lets you have it, right? So it's those kind of things like that. And so then of course those are then there is the gray area, which is the era. You just all the way on your own, right? So when you think of it like that, I think we have to stop and think sometimes. It's like, it's too late. It's already too late once we've gone down the road. We've made these selections. We've made these choices. We've married these people to then turn back and say, oh, I was just thinking about so-and-so. They would have been such a more better spouse to me than this one. You understand what I'm saying? At this point, you made your selection. You placed the person. You quote unquote fumbled them, right? And you are where you are. You're with who you have. That's that.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we want to probably start with the intro, then we can go from there.
Okay. All right, here we go. So, Butterfingers, the tale of those who fumble good people. Imagine sitting with yourself, reflecting on your single status and asking why. Why have I not met my person? Why am I still out here on this dating hamster wheel? Well, have you ever considered the possibility that you may have already encountered or overlooked the person that may have been a great partner to your life? Mishandling of the good or the fumbling of good people is more common today than we can fathom. On the football field, even professional receivers and running backs who are paid to catch and run and score will every now and again fumble the ball. So just as the coach would encourage them to focus more on securing the ball, so are we to practice the reps of valuing what's in our hands as well. The question begs, if we can't catch but score, does that render us as runners? And could it be why we haven't sat still long enough to see what we had in front of us?
Wow. That's good stuff. Yeah. So when you were reading that, I thought about that whole. Can you hear me? It's like something's echoing. Oh. Anyway, yeah. So when you were reading that, I thought about that concept about how, yes, we have professional football players that, like you said, are paid millions of dollars, right, to do their job, but even they fumble. And when they do fumble the ball, they're admonished immediately on the sidelines of what they did wrong and to kind of correct it, right? We in our real lives, when we fumble, quote unquote, fumble good people, in most cases, unless we voice it, because a lot of times it's the fumbling is done behind the scenes, right? No one necessarily knows how you're handling someone unless this is someone that you publicize, that we all saw you on your timelines and you were everywhere with them and all this kind of thing. And then all of a sudden we don't see them no more. So now it's like, what happened to this person? But unless you do that, you would have to kind of announce that this is happening. And I know in most cases, men probably are less inclined. You probably will hear less of men saying they fumbled someone unless they're at a thing with their guys and the guys say, oh, what happened to so and so, and then you may tell at that point, I don't talk to them no more. But I know women have a little more tighter knit circle, and they're a little more involved with one another's love world, right? So women will say, "Oh, I told this, I just can't do it for whatever reason." They'll be like, "Well, why? He was so nice." You understand what I'm saying? And then they'll be, it's just a little too nice for me, whatever. Until a few years later, then it becomes, why did the nice guy come back? So, it's one of those things that happens like that. So it kind of happens on both sides, men too. So it's just one of those awkward things.
Yeah. You know what? It's interesting. I will start out with this because you started here and we'll probably end up there. You were talking about God's will, his perfect will, his permissive will. And then the fact that the permissive will is often what we want.
It's your will. It's your will.
And I think you'll find that it's more often than not that when we get what we want, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. You know what I'm saying? But we have a tendency not to want the thing that will actually do us good. You know what I'm saying? We would rather have the thing that we want because we think that's a good thing, but it's not really as good as we thought it was because it very rarely ever works out on our behalf.
Wow.
And this kind of goes to the conversation that we were having maybe a couple of weeks ago about being able to differentiate the wants and the needs. So here's the thing, and this is interesting because I'm just going to come from my own personal experience. I find that sometimes I feel like that we. Okay, let me be really real. Sometimes, and this was interesting because sometimes on the dating scene, you can come up into people and encounter people who you think that you will be a good fit for.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily see you that way.
Yeah.
Because they think that you're not, I guess, I don't want to say necessarily exciting enough, but you don't seem to be attractive enough.
Yeah.
You don't seem to be the thing that they quote unquote want.
Yeah.
You're not checking the boxes on their list.
Yeah.
But sometimes what happens is that when you move on and they've moved on, they kind of like look back at you and go, so you good. Oh, so you really good.
You did pan out. You pan out.
Yeah. Okay. And it's funny because I think sometimes all of us can attest to the fact that we've glossed over people who who we didn't think was the one.
Yeah.
We never really took enough time to investigate thoroughly enough to find out if they were the one, because we were basing our decision on a surface level. Yeah. We never dug deep enough into the reality of that person being good for us, because on the outside, they did not look good enough for us. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and sometimes we have a tendency to base all of our decisions on the surface level, never getting beyond what we see or what we smell or what we hear or what we taste. We're not being discerning enough. We're not vetting in a comprehensive way to be able to determine whether this person will actually work in our favor and has our best interest at heart. And I think we need to really take a step back and go, let me pause this for a minute and let me really begin to critically think about this situation that I'm in.
Yeah, no, that's good. It makes you think about, and then I'll get to the questions because I saw that you asked the question too. But yeah, I mean, that thing, it gets to a point where, we often, I don't think most of us acknowledge from an honest perspective that when it comes to making selections or dating or trying to find someone, we may come to the table with this list that
Oh,
we're saying, I want this person to have this, I deserve this, and they should have this, or
right,
whatever. Or men are saying, oh, don't you have this many baby daddies, whatever the case, right?
right,
People come up with all these different things. But at the end of the day, people are attracted to a person that is a contrast version of them. It's like you're not just like me, but there's a contrast, a
okay,
little slight difference, a
okay,
slight edge that I'm like, okay, this, that, and the other. I can go from there. And, then we try to make these selections. And that's not to say that these contrasts are bad.
okay,
But I do, but as I grow, as I season in life, you realize how important commonality plays a role.
hmm,
And commonality can make your life that much easier, right?
oh yeah, absolutely,
When you're not being, when you're dealing with someone, and the less commonality you have, the more conflict you have.
true,
The less that you things are easier when you can offer a solution, they can offer a solution, and you can both can say, you know what, you're right. Let's just do that and go there. That comes from commonality. When
right,
there's extreme difference, somebody says, how about this? No, I take offense to that because I don't see it that way. Now your distances apart. Now you're like, okay. And now somebody got to say they sorry. And, it goes into this whole thing of you will have a history of I'm sorry. So,
right,
you gotta be honest with that. But I don't want to go too far here where Demetrius says, do you believe God has a hand in your partner / spouse selection? I'll say this first, and then I'll throw it to you because you put it to Mr. Ford. I'll say this from my perspective, Demetria. If you are a follower of God, absolutely.
hmm,
I feel like if you're a follower of God, He has he's invested in you. So just like you, if you went and partnered with someone to open up a business, and if this person kept saying that they were going to make a lot of changes and decisions, at some point you're going to say, hold on, wait, you're doing too much. We didn't meet about this. We
hmm,
didn't agree on this person that you are quote unquote saying you love and you want to get married to, right? Let's commune and work this out. And
right,
so it's almost like God saying, if I'm going to be who I am, prove to you I am who I am through my word, then I have to make sure we have a close enough relationship so that we can play off one another, and that we can, through my relationship, I can teach you the advantages of following with me, walking with me, so to speak, right? And how the benefits of choosing wisely spiritually can be. And so, and on the other side of it, if you don't subscribe to Christianity, then you're not going to subscribe to any sort of discernment or some kind of a notion of God leading you.
hmm.
Typically, when you're not following Christianity, the thing we'll typically say is, some kind of way the universe brought us together.
I knew he was going to say
Or how it is. And so it's to each his own. I'm not saying there's no right or wrong. I'm just saying everybody has their methodology of getting to the person that they want to be with. And so on the Christian side of the house, I just know that in 9 times out of 10, not only are we taught to fleece God to get sort of like a confirmed permission to be where you are, right? But we, that's what we try to do. Many of us start off that way; it doesn't end that way. But go ahead.
okay. So kind of, I'm going to piggyback, but then I'm going to go off on a little bit. I'm going to go off in a different area a little bit. So yeah, I do believe that God has a hand in our selection. Um, I guess part of the problem is, do we want him to have a hand in our selection? Because I think if we don't want him to, then he won't. He's never going to force himself or force the answer. He's never going to coerce you into getting or receiving the answer. He gives us enough agency to be able to decide for ourselves when the answer comes. And so the question is, it's not if God it's not if God has a hand, is will you recognize his hand? And often if we aren't discerning enough to recognize the answer, we will miss the answer that's sitting right in front of our face. And we have to be able to be sensitive enough with him. And let me just kind of go back a little bit. Hey, here's the thing too. You need to have a relationship with him in order for him to answer you. I don't know what else to put with that. I don't know how to do that. I'm not trying to be offensive or anything. I'm saying that if you want the answer, you need to be in relationship with him in order to get the answer. Now, having said that, we need to be in a position and in a posture to the point where we can recognize the answer. Because I do believe that when God does answer, our eyes and our ears are not attuned to the answer because we don't recognize the answer. See, we want the answer to look one way. We want the answer to be packaged in a specific way. We have this list of things that we want the answer to look like. But what if his answer, Lord have mercy, I'm about to mess up. What if his answer doesn't look the way you want it to look? What if his answer doesn't walk the way you want it to walk? Doesn't float in the same circles that you want it to float in? What if his answer is completely different than what you expect? So he gives you the answer, but you can't recognize the answer because it's not what you're looking for. You can't see it because the answer doesn't look anything like you think it should look like. Yeah. And this is where we miss it at when it comes to God answering, if we're going to put it like that. When it comes to God sending that person, they don't look like the answer.
That's good.
They don't look like the answer, so we don't recognize the answer when he sends the answer. And let's put it like this. I really do believe that God has sent us people. He has put people in our lives that they are the answer to the question of companionship. But because we don't recognize that answer, it doesn't look like an answer. We ignore it. We neglect it. We pass over it every single time.
You know what's so insane about this whole concept is when you were saying this, I envision how many of us are so strong about what does and what does not work, right? And for our lives, we quick to say, well, that doesn't work for me. Absolutely not. You will not do this, that, and the other. But when we look at our track records, they don't support that. Like many of our track records are not in line with our modern day standards. A lot of our track records said you did do what you said, what you're saying now, you no longer do. You've done it, and you've done it time and time again. And so a lot of the times we get mad when those same challenges resurface. They resurface because they realize, hey, don't get mad because I'm in your face coming back the same way. You failed this, remember, a few times ago. So I'm going to keep coming back to beat down on you because, quote unquote, I think I can. So unless you show me something different, I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying? But so that this is about to take a turn. I can already tell. Right. Let's turn it on up. Today when they get to talking, they bring in the good dialogue to shift it. I've been watching some of the dialogue between Kimberly and Kay, and so Kimberly says on this one, you can't see. I guess she's answering you, Adam. You can't see with your eyes closed. You only find what you're looking for if you don't bother to ask God to have a hand in it. You absolutely won't see it.
You won't.
But that's just it. The goal, and I don't want to take this to Bible study. The goal
at the beginning of the conversation, bro.
This is where we go wrong. The goal is not for us, meaning our flesh, to get involved. The goal is for spirits to agree.
Okay.
The problem is we're letting the flesh agree.
Okay.
Anybody can see, I can see a fine woman today and be like, oh my goodness, she fit the bill. Let's go ahead and get to know one another. And then tomorrow, you fit the bill too. Yes, come on, before I know it. Why don't we make this a colony? We all fit the bill. So the point I'm saying is, if you go off of that, that will mess you up every time.
Gotcha.
And the problem is when it comes to allowing your spirit to agree, not everybody agrees with that. Not everybody has the patience for that. In their mind, they're like, look, I need to see this person and I need to be wild immediately. And this person take me to another level mentally to feel like we can run on with this thing, right? And we all know most of us fall in love or fall in lust with that initial feeling, like that whole feeling of starting over, starting new. You fall in love with that euphoric kind of brand new car smell. Like there's that, when you get a new car, you get all you hype, you want to keep driving everywhere with it because you're excited of how it smells and feels. In the relationship, in the beginning, a lot of us get tricked into that. It's like you're in love with things being new, not keeping in mind that eventually this will aid with time. And it's not going to smell and feel and drive and all those things new. It's going to be the thing you chose. And if it's a good brand to stand behind, it'll be that. But it's still not going to be the same. And so we can't get fooled by thinking every time we get bored or every time something comes up, we have to push the reset and go back to the beginning. Because you're going to fumble people for the rest of your life if that's your mindset. We have that reset button where if we bored or you're not intriguing me enough, this isn't exciting. You're not. I need drama. I need toxicity. Whatever. If you're not doing this for me, I'm out. And if you're that kind of person, you're going to be pressing that ding button to go back to the beginning, and you're going to have a long list, whether you're a man or woman, of people that you overlooked. Like you said, people that God potentially placed in your life for a change, a game changer. But if they don't I like what you said when you said they don't look like the answer. If they don't look like the answer, sound like the answer, or the most popular one, if they don't feel like the answer, we don't want to be bothered.
Right.
And to us, the feeling of what the answer is that thing that's going to agree with that flesh and agree with those lists and agree with that anxiety and gonna run you on. And most of us know how to lead you to the lake and tell you to drink. And you like, thanks for bringing me to the lake to drink. And when you turn around, the person is gone. Mm-hmm. People are professional at that, right? So we got that part covered. But the point is, each of us have to know enough of us being able, like I said in the write-up, we all know how, whether we thought we did, whether we want to, everybody knows how to score, if you get my drift. We all know how to score. It's not far from where you are to the bedroom. It's a short walk. We all know how to score. The problem is we have not been taught how to catch and hold. Yeah. You got to catch and hold. The only way you get to the end result is after you caught it, held on to it, because most of you that watch football or have watched football, you see that quarterback at times, he'll throw the ball to the receiver in some of the most inopportune positions, like the middle of the field. The middle of the field is one of the dangerous places to catch it, because when you catch it, it's blindsided. You're going to get hit, crushed, everything else. But if you're focused, you're not going to pay attention to them other men that might like her or those other women that might like him. You understand what I'm saying? That's going to get discouraged when you're trying to catch, right? When you're trying to catch, you got to stay focused to say, listen, all of these people are around. Sure, they could like her. Sure, they could like him. And sure, he may find them attractive. But all that matters is he or she is in your face. They're not in their faces. Forget about what they can have and what they can do. The goal is to catch and hold one another, because we got enough fumbling. Fumbling is everywhere, and we got enough scoring, but nobody's catching.
Yeah.
So we got to be able to catch and hold someone to say, listen, and listen, I'm not even going to pretend and say catching is not challenging. The reason catching is challenging is not so much fundamentally of saying, caught you, I'm holding on to you. The reason we fumble the ball is a lot of times the same reason the professionals that get paid to catch drop the ball. Almost 9 times out of 10, if you watch a game where a receiver is supposed to catch the ball and run, or if a running back is supposed to grab the ball and run, when the ball is either stripped out of their hands or when they drop the ball, it's because they lost focus. Somewhere on time or another, you'll see that receiver take his eye and get ready to do. He's already thinking about cutting up the field instead of just catching the ball. Right. So instead of just catching the ball and then dealing with it after that, he wants to think about what he's going to do while the ball is in the air. Or the running back is like, I got this ball. I'm going all the way to the touchdown. He's not looking at someone around him that's coming to smack it out of his hand. So the goal of this whole thing is focus. Catching someone is primarily about how focused can I remain to be able to hold this person. Because if you think about the world, everybody is grabbing their hands out saying, hey, come over here. I got you. Everybody's telling you they're going to catch you. Right? But if you value who's in your hands at that moment, you have to prove that point to say, I value you enough to make sure that you know that you're being caught. Right. I don't want you to feel like you're being fumbled, because fumble says I'm not paying attention, I'm mishandling you, I'm not necessarily thinking what's in my hand is not that important to hold close. So I'm going to do like this and they're sorry it fell. So you got to be able to say, I don't want to make a living of being someone who can't catch, because I hate to keep talking about football, but just like on the football field, those who can't catch, they make run. And so when you're not a catcher, you are out here running. You're meeting everybody, dating everybody. Oh, they like you because you fine or you handsome. You can get them, no problem. But you can't keep them because you are a runner. And the thing is, we're not being taught how to catch.
Yes.
Catching somebody does not mean giving somebody a list of your non-negotiables, and if you don't meet them, you can be done. Catching somebody says, yes, I have a list, but I also have just as big of a reservoir of compromise over here. It's not just all about me. It's not just one side my way and all of this, or you can kick rocks. Let's be realistic. Who really wants to walk into someone's chaotic life and just make your life great? And you sit around and deal with life as you have to deal with it. Everybody that takes on something in the game, just like in the football game, both sides are looking to be the victors. Right. Nobody just wants to help the other team win. So I think if we approach this thing unselfishly and stop thinking about, well, I could catch it, but I'm really not because the ball doesn't have the right stitching, kick the ball away. No, stop being like that and take the time to focus on what's in your hands. Because I can guarantee you, some people have lost some precious people simply because they misjudged the packaging and didn't get a chance to really, you know what I'm saying, to really see what they had, you know.
Yeah, that was a really good analogy, dude. You went deep. I gotta give you points on that, Joe. It's so to the point, and it really does speak to the heart of the matter that we all have the ability to catch.
Yeah.
We all have the ability to catch. But the question is, can we hold on to what we've taught? And I think honestly, a lot of us, particularly with men, we being hunters, as it is, that the exhilaration of the hunt, the exhilaration of going out to capture whatever it is that we're hunting, is the thing that continues to drive us to go and capture. But catching and holding, again, are two different things.
Yeah.
You got it. Okay, so catching, the mechanics of catching is being able to snatch something out of the air with your hands or whatever mechanism that you're using. You can pull it out of the air. Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Can you hold on to what you have? Do you have the capacity to hold on to what you have caught?
Yeah.
That's going to determine the longevity as how long you can hold on to. That means you got to have good arm strength. You got to have good finger strength. You got to have the ability and the capacity to not only catch it out of the air, but to hold on to it. And if I'm not a football person, I'm not athletic like that or whatever like that. But to notice that there's a certain way that when that catcher catches that ball, he has to tuck it under in such a way as to keep it safe so that anybody else who comes to get that ball can't get that ball. He's got to tuck it in. Oh, man, I'm not a football player, but you got to tuck it in. Tell somebody and say, tuck it in real quick.
Listen, Adam. The point you're making my next point.
Okay.
The focus is the part of catching while it's in the air.
Yeah.
That's the focus part, to catch it. The real battle starts when it's in your hand and and when you're still on your feet. Because if you're on your feet, the goal of the defense is to try to not only tackle you, but to knock the ball out of your hand. Exactly. So the point is, it's a two-part thing. You gotta focus, and you have to be able to carry. Yeah. Focus and then carry and hold. Focus, carry, and hold. Because if you don't, it's a moot point. And so many of us, like I said, we know all the right things to say. We'll gamble on ourselves and our looks against anyone. But gone are the days that people care about your looks. Okay. People can buy pretty today. That's true. People can buy handsome. They can do whatever they need to do to compete. Right. So all the natural stuff, while it's good, it might be preferred, but the playing field is so vast. Nobody has the time to just be kind of just doting on themselves forever. It's none of that. We're at a different time. And so the point is, the beautiful goal and attribute is, I always say, is getting with people that actually appreciate who you are, what you have to offer life. And even if they don't initially understand you, they take the time to try. Yeah. All different. So we're not going to all speak the same alphabet and language all the time and love languages. But if you find the person interesting enough to attempt to catch and hold, you owe it to yourself to put the time in to figure it out. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. No,
what I was going to say, just to kind of relate it to my own personal experience, that was one of the things that I had, that I was walking through when I first met Maria. Yeah. And that was the fact that, okay, I see you, you see me, we all eyes are locking or whatever like that. But then there has to be, like I said earlier, there has to be that investigation that takes place. There has to be that vetting that takes place so that we get and gain a deeper understanding of one another, not just our physical pulchritude or how we look on the outside, but now I need to see how you look on the inside. You can be pretty on the outside, but ugly on the inside. I need, let's be honest, the thing that you first see is your physical.
Yeah, for sure. Ain't no mistake about it. You want the physical.
The first thing I see is going to be your physical. Yeah. But I need your inside to match your outside.
Yeah.
Because this is going to determine our ability to be compatible with one another. I think often we don't have that as a part of our quote unquote checklist. Yeah. We don't list compatibility. Yeah. We got everything else. We got the 6-figure salary. We got he got to be 6'2". He got to have a nice job. You know what I'm saying? He got to be driving this. He got to be living here. But we don't have compatibility. Wow. Do we have a chemistry? Is character a part of the list that we have when we're looking for people that can potentially be a companion for us? Or do we just have this surface level? And again, we got to go deep within the surface. It ain't just about what they look like. It's got to be deeper than the surface, because everybody who looks good ain't good.
Mm.
But that's the thing that we want, though, because it looked good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We'll hold on to the thing that looks good, not realizing it ain't no good. But we'll mess up the people who are really good, because this thing over here is better than what they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, as a catcher, let's go back to that. As a catcher, I got to pull you out, I got to tuck you in, and I got to make the run, which means I'm not standing still with the situation.
Yeah.
I'm not just static. I'm not in suspended animation. I am putting one foot in front of the other while I got you tucked in, moving forward toward the goal. What does this mean? This means I'm having conversations with you. I'm talking to you. I'm spending time with you. We are investing in this thing so that I don't fumble you, so that I get a deeper understanding of who you are. So I know the value of what I'm investing in.
Yeah.
Because I realize and recognize the good thing that I have before me. Oh no, here we go with the scripture. Here we go with the scripture. But his reality is, the Bible says that a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, which means it's a process of discovery.
Yeah.
It's a process by which I am determining if we're good together.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing. When we catch it, I'm discovering, I'm figuring out, I'm making progress. I'm trying to find out, how do I accommodate you in my life? How do you accommodate me in your life?
Yes.
How do we make this thing work together? Because we both are here and we're seeing the good thing that could possibly be.
Yeah. Wow. And do I care enough to hold? Because you caught it, but do you care enough to hold? That's the decision you have to make at that point. You know. And so most of us aren't fortunate. I mean, we don't realize how fortunate we are when we have those moments in life where maybe God has potential. Let's just say potentially, because nobody ultimately knows the will but him. But he may have potentially placed people in front of you, and we have just downright, we have ignored what could have been right and ended up with what was definitely wrong, right? And because we just had to have what we had to have. And but out of God's love for us, he allows us second, third, sometimes other chances, right? To get it right. He'll allow us the chances to be like, yeah, you messed up so-and-so. Yeah, look, I'm just using someone in there. You messed up, Yvette, choosing him. I'm just saying this. But anyway, I'm just making an example. You messed up choosing this person, but I'm going to give you another chance this go round. Just be a little patient with me, but this time make sure you're staying focused on who this person is and you're not allowing the physical to overtake everything. Yes, the physical is important, but it isn't everything. Now, I'll give you a brief example of this time where I know I probably, when I was in my early 20s, and I was more closer to the cross, I should say. I remember this person from one of our neighboring churches. I won't say her name because people they're nosy. But anyway, this person I met from being at one of these church things or whatever, and the person, like Pilate said when they brought Jesus to him, I find no fault with this person. The person they were just a decent person. They were like the elements and the epitomes of what you would think a good person, good wife, all of those things could be.
Okay.
Practically, when they walked in the door, you heard, anyway. So it was like angel sounds behind them when they came around. But nonetheless, in mind, the way I saw it was back then, I could not, back in those days, I could not have, even though I was raised in church from the pew. So I get it, I understood it. But back then, when I was faced with someone that came the way she did, I didn't appreciate it. And I didn't appreciate it from the standpoint of she was just, she wasn't edgy. She wasn't Canaanite. She wasn't none of those things. She just everything was just she was just in the Lord's choir. And so for me, I was like, I need some trouble. So she was just too good, kind of back in those days. And I was just kind of like, I mean, it was just like I might make a suggestion. Sure, I'll pray about it. I wasn't used to hearing that. I heard that at church. My mother.
Wow.
From them. Oh, don't worry. It will be fine. God will cover us. And I'll be like, say something. Anyway, so in my mind, I was just like, it was just at that time, I couldn't appreciate it. Now, after that, fast forward, and I just had to get out to the Israelites. So you go on out into the street, you learn, you learn your lessons, and you be like, oh, I should have stayed closer to the cross. Now, but God still will give you chance to say, listen, you didn't get that particular situation right. And that was a walkthrough, maybe not my particular will for you. It was a walkthrough for you. You walk through it, you learn, you obtain, you take it, you take the lesson. And then the next time around, you recognize when your person comes, right? And you say, okay, I'm not going to have to go through all of this to get that God is trying to present me with a person that matches who I am. Maybe, and we're not the same, but they match who I am. And so the point in saying that is, it's important to be able to point that out. No, I'm not saying I need someone that's you were right there wiping the blood off of Jesus's leg on the cross. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you wanted the person when they come back around, they get who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly. They're not judging you. They love you for who you are, and you appreciate that. And you go on with it instead of, because sitting here, like we get into the point in our lives, it's like fumbling people today is costly, right? Fumbling someone today, it costs you your mental health. It costs you years of your time wasted. It costs you, at this age, you don't want to be carrying resentment. You don't want to be having anguish, and you don't want to find yourself so in a way that you don't even really want to put the work in with anybody because you're discouraged by it. You just kind of like, been there, done that. And I think one of the worst positions we can find ourselves in as men and women that are quote unquote looking for someone is been there, done that.
Wow.
We have become the victim of our own disease called too much experience. These portals today offer us too many opportunities for too much experience. You got online dating, deliberate portal. You got any social media DM or post when someone is telling you how nice you look today, every time you post another one. And you got, it's just like everywhere we go, we have opportunities to add to confusion and experiences in our life. And I think that's personally killing us. It's like we got too much experience to the point where we can't really enjoy anyone because we really don't believe anyone. Because all of the experiences tell us that this hasn't worked to date. I haven't been able to catch properly. So we don't believe fully. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So it's interesting because I think, and this is one of the things that I was trying to talk about, but I'll dig a little deeper with this idea, and that is the fact that I think often we don't engage our ability to discern people.
Yeah.
We kind of, again, we go off of our those things that are on the surface, and again, the surface has value. But the value is limited because it is the surface. Okay, it only goes but so far. But it's when I begin to engage my discernment, my ability to assess things on a more comprehensive level, that I'm able to determine if I'm able to proceed forward with this person. Again, not just off of what I am experiencing on a very shallow level, but I want to dig deeper. And I think I don't know what it is. Why aren't we sharing deeper things when we're having conversations? I know there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
So you be the one to determine that.
Yeah.
But I really do. I want to encourage us in terms of those who are dating is the fact that we have to really begin to dig deeper in our relationships so that we come away with a greater understanding as to the compatibility of this person that we're with, that we just don't instantaneously just throw them away and discard them because they're not necessarily quote unquote fitting the bill or they're not checking the list. But we're looking a little deeper than that, because I do believe that so many of us have really just kind of like gotten rid of people, and we have not allowed them to really kind of like be in our lives to give us anything that we actually need. You know what I'm saying? And so it's so important, because I feel like some of us let's be honest. Some of us have been the ones who have rejected the good ones.
Correct.
The rest of us have been the ones that have been rejected as the good ones.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is we end up perpetrating the same crime against those who are actually good for us. And again, I really do want us to begin to think about the fact that when the answer comes, the answer doesn't look like the answer we want. But it's the answer that we need. Again, understanding and realizing that we need to be able to differentiate between what we want and what we need. We get stuck. We don't know because we haven't been taught that what we want isn't always good for us. We live in a world today where all we see advertised before us, all we see promoted to us is what we want. If you feel good, do it. If it make you jump, then do it. Correct. But what about the actual need that you have? Yeah. What about that? Because the need is the thing that needs to be satisfied. The need is the thing that helps you to live. The need, not the want. The want, you can live without the want, but you can't live without the need. Wow. And I think a lot of times what we're doing is because of the fact that the good thing that we don't see as a good thing is the thing that we need. It doesn't look like the thing that we want. And so now we got to go, wait a minute, I've been picking wrong the whole time. Yeah. Because I've been picking the things that I want. Yeah. If you take a kid to a grocery store, a candy store, guess what that kid is going to do? He's going to pick up junk. He's going to pick up candy, he's gonna pick up soda, he's gonna pick up pizza. That kid is never gonna pick out vegetables. That kid is never, hardly ever gonna pick out fruit. He's never gonna pick out the thing that's actually good for him. He's gonna pick out the thing that's good to him. Yeah. And a lot of us are in that same situation. We're picking out the things that we want. Yeah. And discarding the things that we actually need, fumbling the things that we actually need, dropping the things that we actually need. So now we're walking around as people who are malnourished. Yeah. Because we're not getting what we actually need. We're walking around vitamin deficient because we're not getting what we actually need. We're walking around dizzy, anemic. Yeah. Wow. We actually need. Yeah. Again, my thing to us is an open challenge. Learn how to discern the difference between the two. Wow. What you want versus what you need. Wow. In terms of you picking people, your companion.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's important is to note is that many of us approach this look and find concept as if we're professionals. Okay. And this is what you got to keep in mind. I'm bringing up the football again.
Here we go.
Even the football players that are professional and paid millions to do what they do, each week of the season, guess what they are doing in between games? Practicing. Yeah. They are constantly throwing, catching, testing, dropping, testing, protecting the ball, testing, carrying the ball, testing, trying to score. We are the people that feel like, and somebody brought this to my attention. When I saw Kimberly's comment, she says, and doing right by them might include letting them go if you know you aren't ready to be the one for them. But that's the common answer.
Okay.
The right answer is, like I said, practice between the games so that you know how to catch. It's not so much as, it's not, I'm not saying this about Kim, just use an example. It's not that we are already so put together that you have to meet me where I am. This is a two-sided thing. It's not just a one person, I see you, and if you don't come correct, bye. Because if you say bye to everybody, you're going to be bye-bye the rest of your life. Because everywhere you go, you're taking the part of you that don't want to change. And you want everybody to fit who you are. And if you want these people that go everywhere, and the minute you go to, I don't have time for that. Sorry, I do. Sorry. But I can about tell you, every person that's in that position have not properly vetted themselves.
Okay.
I guarantee you, if you vet yourself, you're going to see something about you that you need to take a little time to practice.
Right.
Because I'm a little rusty. I'm not catching the way I used to. I'm letting things slip through my hands, right? So I need to check who I am. So I'm only saying this because I think that's one of the, when I saw her comment, it just reminded me of why so many of us out here are losing in this game is because we are approaching it broken and not acknowledging that we are broken, but wanting you to come perfect to us. And if you don't come to us, we dropping you and we gone. And we going on over here. When we need to see about us. Because 9 times out of 10, if we look at the gown you wearing or the pants you wearing, we're going to see blood on it. We dripping, you leaking somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? And so my point is, we got to be honest with ourselves. And, this dismissive culture we got, nobody is winning in that league. Because we ready to dismiss you on the slightest thing. Oh, excuse me. What did you say? And what kind of job do you? Sorry. Well, at least the person working an honest job. This is the day where somebody could be out here on the block and coming in your house and hiding a whole gram under your bed. And while you at work, your house get broken into, and here come the cops coming there, making your whole house get up and stand up and get locked up. So we got to pick and choose our battles. We always say we want these things, but when they come, we pick every reason in the book to fight and reject them.
Yeah.
Then when the wrong thing comes, we do a complete bout face of accommodation. We accommodate the wrong so well. Every people that come into your life, what are you doing for a living? It's a 40-some-year-old man or woman. Well, right now, I'm trying to figure some things out. No, you ain't at this age. Right?
You shouldn't be.
It's at 40 plus or what? Heck, even 30 something. There is no figuring it out.
Right.
We're not saying you got to be all the way up here in 8, 9 figures or 6 figures, but have something to bring fair to the table. And that's not even for me or just the other person. That's for you to feel good about you. Because until you feel good about you and what you bring, you're not going to operate well.
So, Charlie,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I want to ask this question. I think we kind of asked it prior to the show started. So here's the thing. So it sounds like when it comes to the whole Butterfingers deal, that we would rather have the bad boy and the bad girl versus the good boy and the good girl. Because the bad boy and the bad girl, those are the things that are tantalizing and intriguing and captivating. Oh, yes, give me the bad thing. I don't want the good thing.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, let's just be honest. You can learn a lot about a person by the things they binge on TV.
Okay.
The things they binge, they could be some of the most calmest people I know watch and binge watch some of the ratchetest things in the world. Now, they are calm and sitting over there and just with glasses on from some doing all of this all day long, watching the most ratchet TV ever. And I'm always captivated by that. I'm like, but you got all this stuff in your life, all under control and disciplined and all this. But when you relax and unwind, that's what you want to take into your spirit.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying to myself, that's how we view love. We want to be who we are, but come entertain me, ratchet person, toxic person, because we're exciting. Just don't take too much advantage of me. Just don't cheat too much that I can see what you're doing. But I like the fact that you're mysterious and on the edge and make me have some anxiety every now and then so I can tell my girls that we had makeup sex.
Oh, no.
I'm only saying this from a male point. It's women, so you can understand that. But the point I'm making is we are not honest. It's like we like those guilty pleasures even in people. I've known so many people. I tell this story before, how I used to work with this lawyer, Dominican chick that was a lawyer. All the guys liked her. She was an attractive lady. She was good position. She was making all this money until that time we had a company picnic. And so of course everybody's wondering who they gonna bring. She came by herself, but you know who picked her up? We sitting up there, we all having a good time. Everybody's being bourgeois or whatever. Towards the end of the party, we look because the party was outside. We looking, boom, 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 boom. We're like, what is that ruckus? Anyway, so we looking to be like, what's going on? Do you know who came to the party? Pookie. Pookie came in there, dreads all the way back here, and this dude was over 40. Dreads all the way down his back like Jesus. He coming in there smelling like weed, tatted off. We were like, are you kidding me? You know what you for this? I'm making a point, right? I'm just trying to make a point. Like, I'm not saying that we have to discriminate between who we love. But when you work your tail off to get to a certain point in life, you say to yourself, yes, the field of love is free, but I'm certainly not going to take unnecessary risk if I can help it, right? And some people, we got to call it what it is. I can attest to it. I've been there, done that. Some people we choose are risk to our life, livelihood, and the whole nine. And so we got to think beyond those guilty pleasures and think of smart pleasures. Not everything guilty is good and is going to remain good to you. It's guilty. It may be a little ratchet. It may be fun. But train your mind to enjoy something so, everything doesn't have to be bad that we like, right? Learn to change your affections is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, you right on point, because here's the thing. Our appetites are geared toward the thing that has the thing that we like the most. For example, sugar is highly addictive. Yeah. Coca-Cola ain't the best thing for you. You know what I'm saying? On a regular basis. It's good to you, but it ain't good for you. And we have this appetite, if you will, for the bad thing. I mean, we have an appetite for the bad thing, and it ain't helping us. If anything, it's hurting us, because now we're rejecting the good things that will actually benefit us, and we're wholly embracing the bad things that are literally tearing us down. And here's the thing, though. All of us have this propensity, this proclivity. All of us have this thing. Every last one of us, I'm included in it. We all have it. But at some point in time, you got to be able to say no to the bad thing and say yes to the good thing, so that you can be better off in the end. No, it doesn't look like the way you want it to look. Okay, get over it. It's still good for you. Okay? Let's be honest about that thing. Let's be real about that. Because if we're not careful, we're going to end up with hypertension in our relationships.
Oh, wow.
We're going to end up with diabetes in our relationship.
Yeah.
We're going to end up with all types of toxicity in our relationships, because we won't do the right thing, which is good for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And in closing is we have to say to ourselves, if we're honest, the reason we don't enjoy the good is because in most times we lack the good that we need to be. And it's hard to appreciate good if you're not good. And
Wow.
I remember one time somebody had told me time and time again during, like, I guess it was probably a relationship spat. And the person said to me, "Oh, I am a good so-and-so. You will definitely miss so-and-so and so about me." And I'll never forget saying to her, "I've heard this time and time again." I said, "But you're only good." I said, "A person is only good as the way they show up. And the way you show up to me is not good." And so
Wow.
the person that shows up good is a person that lives their life to make the best decisions for the good.
Right.
If you show up ratchet and crazy and all of this and destructive and dysfunctional, there's nothing good about that. And
Right.
it needs to be corrected, right? So, but the point is, don't keep we have to stop this saying that we're good when our actions are really telling us presently and historically that we're not moving in good ways.
Right.
We have the potential to be good, but we're not moving good. And that's why we don't appreciate when somebody good comes, because it becomes a conflict. You
Wow.
bad, they're good. What are we going to do? We can't even roll the dice together because they don't want to play. You shouldn't want to play, but you want
Okay. Okay.
you want to play because you're bad. So if they're not bad like you, then it's so now you turned off. The problem is you just need to check and adjust you.
Yeah.
Let's stop looking at this thing like you can't get with them because they're a goody two shoe. No, you have a broken halo. That's it. So come on, call it what it is. I've been there. I have certainly had my moments where I didn't appreciate the good because I knew I was moving bad.
Right.
So the point is, it's not until you move good that you appreciate good. Other than that, you won't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to keep on fumbling the ball.
I mean, and again, it really does go back to that whole, and we talked about it before, but the whole idea of your appetite, the things that you're hungry for, the things that you're thirsty for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just a prime example, and we're going to let this go. Again, I can be thirsty and drink a soda, but that soda really doesn't quench my thirst.
Yeah.
If anything, it might delay my thirst. The only thing that will really quench my thirst is water.
Water.
But I don't want water.
We want that burn.
Yeah, we want that.
Burn is that burn. That burn is where you get that. But then you start being thirsty again because it ain't gonna satisfy you. It leaves you insatiable.
Yeah. Adjust your appetite. That's all I'm gonna say. Leave it alone.
Correct. Well, let's see. Let's adjust. Okay, so all right, fine. Okay, so listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in with us another week. Where we talked about today, Butterfingers, the tale of those who fumbled good people. I think this is a good topic for us to kind of reflect on, like chew on the meat, let it kind of sink in. You know, all titles are different, but this is one that definitely makes you reflect and say, you know, while I'm over here waving this white flag saying I'm single and this, that, and the other, am I single because the flag just needs to be white, or a long time ago it could have been green and I just ignored it? You understand what I'm saying? So you got to be straight with yourself and just, you know, I'm not telling anybody to go back in history. I'm just saying learn from our choices. Like if we are still in these single positions, you know, in some cases you can be proactive to at least better your chances, and bettering your chances by being take the time to kind of see a little beyond just the surface. I'm not saying, listen, I am in no means saying don't compromise on attraction, because that's important. But it's not everything.
It's not.
It is. You can have the best looking person in the world, and after a while, it's like if nothing else is there, you just in the house with a good looking person. That's it. But
wow.
So you got to have something else.
Yeah. Real talk.
Nothing is more uglier than a good-looking person with no purpose in your life.
Wow.
Let's take it at that. Anyway. Yeah, it's not like looking at a person and just saying, yeah, and then looking and like, there is no real place here with me.
Yeah.
All right. So, you got to go beyond that. You know what I'm saying?
They're just taking up space, man. Just taking up space.
All right. Well, appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be right back next week, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hope that you guys can tune in. And again, like and share if you can, and let someone else get a chance to get a listen in that may have missed today's show. And as usual, we appreciate you guys for tuning in and commenting. Of course, thank all of you for commenting today. You guys helped out in sparking dialogue. All right. Anything else, Mr. Ford?
Definitely share and like the program. Definitely share and like. We're trying to grow this, so definitely share and like us. Let all your friends and family know what's going on over here. So yeah.
All right. Peace. All right. Well, I guess I won't do too much unplugging, but
I mean, unless you're gonna go with the bad girl, and they're gonna go with the bad guy. I mean, that's what y'all want to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, though.
All right.
Hey, I mean, every time you go with the bad girl and the bad guy, what do you think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna be good? No, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna do what they do. That's who they are. They're the bad girl and the bad guy. So ain't no point in you getting upset about having a swollen eye because you with him. He's a bad guy. Ain't no point in you getting upset with her because she's sleeping with another dude while she's dating you. She's a bad girl. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's be real about this. Let's be real. That's the reason why it's winning, right?
Yes, and that's the culture. Unfortunately, the culture we have today, we have learned like good has just become boring, right? And we learn to justify the broken. We justify the bad, and men justify to their friends, women justify the bad to their friends and to themselves, right? That's what we do because we feel like having the edgy, trouble-prone person keeps excitement in your life. And it's only excitement until that excitement becomes deadly. And when it becomes deadly, now you're changing your tune because you realize what you thought you could handle and what was cute initially is no longer cute. This is fearful of my life type of stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? This whole stuff out here today. I was talking to the guys earlier when I was out, is that we were talking about how nowadays it's just like people don't know how to take rejection. So when we are fumbling people, it's detrimental today. Like some people you're fumbling, they don't know how to take that. They coming back blasting. You tell somebody you're not dealing with them, they shooting, killing you, stabbing you, all kinds of stuff. Simply because you told them or you blew them off, you blocked them, ghosted them. People, this is a different time. So even if you don't pick them to be with them, sometimes if you at least gave them the benefit of the doubt to date them, just sometimes that quiet, brief conversation to say, I appreciate your time, but yeah, I think this is probably not something that I'm looking to go further in. They may not like it. They may say something. But at least you gave them the truth right there. But if you just say, you know what, I'm not going out with this person no more, block, then that person's gonna show up where they know that you've been with them, and you're gonna have some problems on your hands. So, these are the things that we just have to do.
So you against just ghosting them? You don't want to ghost them. You don't want to send them a text. You want what we doing? Are we calling them?
I would say. I think what people do initially, unless somebody has offended you, people just don't necessarily, they'll stop responding. And that's kind of like a take the hint and go away, right? That's that approach. But some people today, if they really, really are interested in you, they're not going to quit. They're going to find other ways to approach you until you give them what they want, which is a response. Right. And sometimes you just got to say, hey, this just is not what I want to do. Now you get mad, whatever you want to do, but this is not what I want to do. And leave it at that.
I guess my only thing would be, why would I put myself in that position in the first place? Again, we just need to make better decisions and learn how to change our appetites. I think that really is the key to making better decisions. Because if I'm not driven by what I'm thirsty for or what I hunger for, and it's coming from a different place, then I'm not going to put myself in that position to possibly be taken advantage of or exploited. You know what I'm saying? So
another quick thing is we got to keep in mind sometimes when it comes to dating, when you think of good, you think of layers to be peeled back. Because good sometimes isn't readily seen. Good is what you discover. I mean, you're talking about the discovery mode.
Okay.
When you think of a good person, you don't think of like so bad in some cases, or the appearance of bad is when we can go somewhere and we can see everything we desire right then and there. Oh, you look good. Your body look good. Oh, you're showing this and this, that, and other. Oh, when you say you want to go somewhere tonight, everything is gratification and quick.
Right.
Good person is they're interested, but they're also giving you layer by layer to let you know there's more to me than today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's enough bad for the day. But anyway. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, next week for sure, we will see you guys again. Take care.
Peace.